Hi students, this is Teacher K of Surat National High School. Let us get ready and learn English at the comfort of your own homes. Grab now your self-learning modules, your pen, and your study notebook, for we are about to embark on a great lessons in English.
So before we delve into our lesson for today, I want you to take note of the following netiquette codes for our online learning.
So, are you guys ready? As you go through the module, you're expected to enhance your knowledge and improve your vocabulary skills with the rich and varied traditions of Afro-Asian countries by noting context clues. It sounds interesting, isn't it? I bet you're now very thrilled to launch yourself into a fun-filled learning experience.
So the most essential learning competency covered in your module is to determine the meanings of words and expressions that reflect the local culture by noting context clues. Specifically, you're expected to identify the meanings of words and expressions through context clues, to give examples of the different types of context clues, to express appreciation to local culture, and to write a paragraph using one or more types of context clues.
Have you ever felt so lost in the conversations, stories, or texts that you read because of the presence of some words that you cannot understand? It's a bummer, right? But don't worry. For today's learning episodes, I am going to help you develop the ability to use context of an unfamiliar word to determine its meaning. When you were in grade 7, you learned about identifying or giving meaning to an unfamiliar words. This time, let us recall your knowledge about this topic by doing this exercise. So get your pen, your paper, and your self-learning modules ready, and let us answer this exercise with me.
Each given sentence contains a bold-faced word which is probably new to you. So you are tasked to guess the meaning of these words. Choose the letter of the correct answer and write it on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. Governments in some parts of the world set their focus on the doldrums of environmental degradation instead of the threats of the present pandemic. What is the meaning of the word doldrums? A. Delight. B. Despair. C. Joy. Or D. Trust. And the answer is letter B. Despair. Okay, number 2. Our family always have a fleeting idea of going to Phuket, Thailand, but we know it will take some time given the present health crisis. Now, what is the meaning of the word fleeting? A. Constant. B. Endless. C. Long. Or D. Sudden. And the answer is letter D, sudden. I hope you got it right. Okay, next number. An oracle is said to have the ability to foresee the future. What is the meaning of the word oracle? A. Diviner. B. Fortune teller. C. Priest. Or D. Scientist. Oracle means letter B. Fortune teller. Number 4. People who are despicable should not be avoided. Instead, they should be loved. Our unfamiliar word is despicable. What does it mean? A. Good. B. Kind. C. Mean. Or D. Nice. Despicable means letter C. Mean. Lastly, number 5. I grew up learning to assert my rights and not to be cowed by other people's intimidation. What is the meaning of the bold-faced word cowed? A. Comforted. B. Help. C. Please. Or D. Scared. And the correct answer is letter D. Scared. Well, I hope you got 5 out of 5. Now, let us do some self-check. You may write your answers in your study notebook. Number 1. How did you find the drill? Did you get the correct meaning of the words? What words or phrases in a sentence help you to know the meaning of the word? And what do you call these words and phrases? So another way of learning the meaning of an unfamiliar word is through context clues. Now, what are context clues? Context clues are words that appear in sentences to help understand the meanings of difficult words. These are words that serve as clues to help readers understand the meaning of a difficult or unfamiliar word. Now, where they can be found. Clues can be found in the same sentence as the difficult or unfamiliar word. Clues are in the same paragraph or passage as the unknown word, or context clues can be in the same sentence. They are called context clues because they are found in context of the sentence or passage. So what thinking action is involved in determining the meaning of unknown words? Just fill in the gaps with letters to guess the word. I will give you 5 seconds to guess. I hope you got it right. The thinking action involved in determining the meaning of unknown words is inference. So context clues requires the skill of inference. When we say inference or to infer, is to guess or to form an opinion or conclusion based from the information that you have. In this case, when you determine the meaning of an unknown word in a sentence, use the other words to determine the meaning of the word in question. Now let us get to know the different types of context clues. So number 1 is definition. So the unfamiliar word is defined in a sentence. Now let's take a look at this example. A treasure hunter is a person who searches for treasures from sunken ships and ancient tombs to obtain valuable relics and artifacts. Now what is the meaning of the words treasure hunter? Very good. A treasure hunter is a person who searches for treasures. The words treasure hunter are being defined in the sentence. Let us try to guess the meaning of the underlined word in a sentence. Sheila was lethargic. She didn't have energy to get out of bed. Now, what is the closest meaning of the word lethargic? If your answer is D, lazy, then you are right. Number two is synonyms. Synonyms are words with the same meaning. A similar word is placed in the same sentence to know the meaning of the unfamiliar word. For example, it is common for Filipinos to feel compassion or pity for the suffering of their fellow men. The words compassion and pity in this sentence have the same meaning, which is a feeling of concern for the sufferings of others. The presence of the word or signals that they have the same meaning. Now let us try this one. It was an idyllic day, sunny, warm, and perfect for a walk in the park. Now, what does idyllic mean? Good job. Idyllic means perfect. So its meaning can be found in the sentence. Number three is antonyms. Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. An opposite word is placed in the same sentence. For example, among the siblings of thin body structure, Isabel is the only one who is portly. Now, the word portly in this sentence is quite unfamiliar to us. Portly is the opposite of thin. Thin means having too little flesh or fat on their body. Portly, on the other hand, is someone who is fat or overweight. Now, it's your turn to find the meaning of the unfamiliar word in this sentence. The feral cat would not let us pet him, unlike our friendly cat. So the word unlike signals that the words feral and friendly do not have the same meaning. What is then the meaning of feral? So the correct answer is letter B, fierce. Number 4, comparison. A similar word with the same meaning of the unfamiliar word is placed with an object to be compared. Example, the stench of the garbage was like the smell of a rotten fish. What is the meaning of stench? So in the sentence, the word like signals the phrase that means stench, the smell of a rotten fish. So stench means a very unpleasant smell. Now let us try this one. My grandmother is parsimonious, but she is not nearly as cheap as my grandfather. So the meaning of the underlined word can be unlocked by comparing it with another keyword. So do you have any guess? So parsimonious is someone who is unwilling to spend. Very good. Number 5, example. Samples are provided in the sentence to understand the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Words like including, such as, for example, point out example clues. For instance, in ancient times, some of our forefathers believed in amulets, such as pearl of the crocodile, pearl of the axe, bullet necklace, and bag of herbs to protect them from harm. What does the word amulets mean? In this sentence, samples of amulets are provided. These are pearl of the crocodile, pearl of the axe, bullet necklace, and a bag of herbs. So these objects are worn to fight off evil or illness. What about this sentence? Piscatorial creatures such as flounder, salmon, and trout live in the coldest parts of the ocean. What does the underlined word mean? Flounder, salmon, and trout are examples of fish. Very good. You got it correct. Number 6, explanation. A description is given to understand the meaning of an unfamiliar word. Writers provide a bigger picture and add details or context so that readers will come to understand the tricky word. For example, Matthew had few infractions of the house rules that he should have not done as part of his responsibilities. What does infraction mean? When we say infractions, these are rules of your parents that you should not violate or break. So we should always be responsible, even at home. Now, you try this one. The team was elated because they just found out they placed in the semifinals. So what would you feel when you know that your team will compete in the semifinals? That's right. You would be joyful. Number 7, cause and effect. The meaning of the difficult word depends on the cause-effect relationship of other words as expressed in the sentence. A quick review on cause and effect relationship. Cause is something that produces an event or condition. Effect, on the other hand, is what results from an event or condition. For example, when the weather is cold, a person may start to shiver. So the cold weather is the cause, and the shivering is the effect of the cold weather. Now let us take a look at this sentence. Since only a few followed the wearing of face masks, it was made mandatory by the government. Let us first identify the cause and effect. What is the cause? So only few people wear face masks, and the effect, the government made the wearing of face masks mandatory. So what does mandatory mean in this sentence? If something is mandatory, it means that people have to follow and do it because it is a rule. Now, what about this one? She wanted to impress all her dinner guests with the food she served, so she carefully studied the necessary culinary arts. What does culinary mean in this sentence? If your answer is food preparation, then you are correct. Number 8, list or series of clues. To understand the meaning of the unknown word, it is included in a series of words given in a sentence. For example, after the program, the rubbish left were souvenir programs, flyers, leaflets, plastic bottles, and food wrappings. So what are rubbish? Rubbish are trash. These are waste materials such as souvenir programs, flyers, leaflets, plastic bottles, and food wrappings. Try this one. The painting was polychromatic, multicolored, vivid, and colorful. What does polychromatic mean? The answer is letter B, of two or more colors. Lastly, inference. To understand the meaning of the unknown word, one has to make a guess based on the description given in the sentence. For example, all animals share the same vital needs such as food, water, and shelter. What do we know about food, water, and shelter? Based on what you know about animals and the relationships to food, water, and shelter, what can you infer that vital means? We know that food, water, and shelter are the basic necessities to live. Even humans need those. So what do you think vital means? Thus, vital means absolutely important. All animals cannot live without them. So it is absolutely necessary to have those three things to live. Try this one. She told her friend, I'm through with blind dates forever. What a dull evening. I was bored every minute. The conversation was absolutely vapid. What does vapid mean in this sentence? Vapid means uninteresting.
So those were the types of context clues. To check if you really understood our lesson, answer the self-learning modules provided for you. But please do not forget to observe honesty when answering the modules. I hope you learned a lot from this session, and please do not forget to hit the subscribe button so you would not miss a thing. Till our next learning session. Once again, this is Teacher K. Goodbye and keep safe.